Hello everybody, I'm Mark's Games here, and today I want to discuss to you guys why I don't want kids. There are many people in the world that likes to have families and they like to continue their, legacy, quote unquote. But for me, honestly, I just feel like that kids are not for me, and here's why. The number one reason why I don't want kids is stability, financial stability, because I just now got myself financially stable where I could finally be independent enough to support for myself. I've been on this earth for 26 years, and in my 20s, I was navigating around to try to figure stuff out financially, live a balanced life to see what works and what doesn't. And honestly, man, it took this long for me to figure that stuff out, and I just don't want any children because I really don't have any passion to raise somebody else. They take a lot of time and a lot of effort, and I feel like it's not made for everybody, and people should really stop pushing that stigma of having children if they don't want to. Reason number two is the lack of support. If you guys are new to this channel, I don't really have any parents or anyone raising me, so I'm 100% independent into figuring everything out. And since I finally did, I also don't have any support for people wanting to help me watch kids or do anything like that. There's a lot of people with giant families and everything, but for me, dude, my family is extremely small that I come from. My family was also very poor, and I don't want to put anyone through the same thing as well, because this world has been honestly kind of shitty the last couple of years, and I don't want to see people go through the same struggles as I did, And I feel like if I were to have kids right now, dude, I would struggle a million times more, and it's just not a good idea. And I've been an uncle for 16 years since I was 10 years old, and I feel like my family of my nieces and nephews, because they recently moved back, we all have been catching up and everything and spending a lot of time together. I feel like spending time with them is more than enough than raising children. And also, I've met a lot of people who didn't want kids as well, and I've dated a couple women in the dating scene too that also didn't want kids. It's going to be a little bit harder in the long run, but it is definitely possible. Reason number three is that I would not want to raise a kid, that end up becoming a bad apple, because sometimes no matter what you do with raising children, you can try to lead them in the right direction. You can try to be mature, have them influence them to make right decisions. But there's some people in life, unfortunately, no matter what type of upbringing they come from, that some of these kids will also still turn out to be bad people at times, man. And it's really sad to see, because I know some good parents that have horrible kids sometimes, and they did the best they could to raise them. And it's just sometimes a shitty personality trait, or they just did something too much to make them that way. Yes, sometimes people spoil their kids, but there's times where it's not 100% the parents' fault either. Keep in mind that there are so many people who have terrible parents. Unfortunately, I'm one of them too, because, to keep things short and sweet, that my parents stole a lot of money from me and didn't apologize. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, there's just a lot of people in this world that also have horrible parents that just feel like they're entitled to their kids, treating them like property. Reason number four is that I don't think I would be happy, to be honest. Now, you see, I do live alone, and I don't mind sharing a partner with somebody else, right? But for right now in life, man, I'm just really happy where I'm at, just be able to have a good social life, because believe it or not, at my age at 26, I have a really decent social life. I have a lot of really good close friends that do give a shit about me and stuff, and it's just really nice, because there's a lot of people in life that don't have that, and there's a lot of people that are still single too in their 20s and shit. But I know some friends I do hang out with that do have kids, and I also think it's really cute to see my friends succeed and be able to raise their own and be happy. Reason number five is that the world is an extremely cruel place, and it's really scary to think about having a kid upbringing and something happening to them. Don't get me wrong, you have to obviously be responsible, be on top of every little thing, man. But as the kids get older, man, the kids will get more stubborn and want to do things on their own. And there's going to be a lot of times kids are going to rebel, especially as teenagers. And if you're not careful, or if they're not careful, if they're at the wrong place at the wrong time, man, something really bad could happen to them, and it could end into something very severe, like a tragedy, sexual assault, or just anything that could really change their life and your life as well. I've seen a lot of families who go through a lot of grief over their own kids' tragedies or death, or even, miscarriages from before they're even born. And that's not very easy on anyone, especially if you're trying to bring someone up in this world. And when I was in school, man, I had so many people in my school die from stuff too, because they were either at the wrong place at the wrong time, or they just didn't make the wisest decisions as kids, and it just kind of backfired on them in the long run. And the last and final reason for me why I don't want children is that I do not want to be in debt due to medical bills for the child, because there's a lot of people who do grow and raise kids and they get severely sick, and anything that don't have health insurance, man, like, yeah, they're going to be forever in debt. And did you guys know that depending on the kid, that if you have a kid in the hospital and you don't have health insurance, that could be over $100,000 like starting off, and that's crazy. It's also per kid, and I'm like, holy fuck, man, like, that's a lot of money. Like, yes, there is insurance, but like, why would you want to put yourself through that? A lot of people in general cannot afford health insurance for themselves, so why would I want to put health insurance for my kid if I can't just afford it in general? Also, I do have a few questions for the people who also want to push their agendas about having kids on people. Why do you want people to have kids that aren't yours anyways? Like, it's just weird in my opinion. There's also some people in this world that can't even conceive a child in general due to health reasons alone, so why should you shame them for not wanting them to have a kid or not even adopting too? There's also so many people in this world that's extremely irresponsible, and a lot of people do walk out on their children a lot, and sometimes both parents do abandon their children, or some of them will either be super selfish and do like hardcore drugs and stuff while they're trying to raise children, and they also get their kids taken away, and that's also extremely sad. At the end of the day, that we all can make our own choices in life, and everyone's journey is a bit different, and not everyone's life is the same at all, and you should not be able to follow stigmas and platitudes of people that try to push that narrative on others. Also, to anyone who does not want children, you're not making a bad decision. Like, yes, it is a little selfish, but it's not necessarily a bad thing either. You're doing it for you, and if you want to be happy that way, then yes, it's a good thing, honestly. There's also terrible people who do terrible things to their own children, and there's a lot of people in this world, honestly, should not be having kids to begin in the first place. At the end of the day, your decision is your decision, and you should not let anyone else justify it. Now, in the future, would I ever change my mind if I'm older? There's a possibility, but for right now, I definitely do not want children, and I don't think I plan on having them in the future. I kind of felt this way since I was like 18, and it honestly has not changed one bit, and I don't think it'll ever change for me. Thank you guys so much for listening to me. What are your guys' thoughts about having children? Do you plan on having kids in the future? Or if you already have them, are you really happy with your kids? Feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below, because I would really like to hear your guys' experience about life, you know, because it's kind of cool reading some of these. Also, I hope you guys had an excellent weekend, because man, I had a lot of fun. I was with my buddies and everything, got to see my friends from St. Louis. We went out and did some shooting and everything, caught up and got some nice Japanese food. My buddy paid for me and everything for a nice Christmas dinner. The shit was so fucking awesome, dude. I had a blast the whole time. I also went to go see my first hockey game. Like, it wasn't an NHL game, but it was a nice experience being able to try some new things this weekend, bro. It was so fucking awesome. My buddy also brought some rifles and semi-autos and revolvers also while we were shooting, man, and I got to learn and shoot my first sniper, and that shit was so nice, man. I'm definitely going to leave that in the community section below, so if you guys want to check it out, I'll definitely post it there. And I hope you guys are enjoying my gameplay of Modern Warfare 3. This is my first time playing Modern Warfare 3 since it first came out, and I was disappointed in this game when it first released, but little did I know what direction Call of Duty would go in after Black Ops 2. But yeah, man, it's actually not that bad. But I gotta say, even though they look very similar, both games feel entirely different. And I'm actually decent at Modern Warfare 2 to compare to MW3, because holy fuck, man, they play definitely a bit different. If you guys like content like this and like to hear me talk about my life and everything, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. So peace out, man.